Imagine a forest, silent and still. Suddenly you notice them. Thousands of bodies impaled on wooden stakes, a gruesome sight, and a chilling calling card. This, my friends, is the legacy of Vlad III, better known as Vlad the Impaler, a man both revered and reviled, a ruler shrouded in darkness and whispered legends. Today, we journey back to 15th century Wallachia to uncover the truth behind the terror. Vlad's story begins in 1431 in the rugged region of Transylvania. This land, known for its dense forests and towering Carpathian mountains, was a place of both beauty and danger. It was a region steeped in history and legend, where the line between myth and reality often blurred. Born into a noble family, young Vlad's life was far from a fairy tale. His early years were spent in the shadow of his father's ambitions and the constant threat of political upheaval. The castles and courts he called home were filled with intrigue and danger, shaping his character from a very young age. His father, Vlad II Dracula, ruled Wallachia, a region constantly caught in a power struggle between the mighty Ottoman Empire and the Kingdom of Hungary. This was a time of great turmoil, where alliances were fragile and loyalties could shift overnight. Vlad II's rule was marked by constant battles and strategic maneuvers to maintain his throne. At a tender age, Vlad and his brother Radu were sent to the Ottoman court as political hostages. This was a common practice in those times, intended to ensure the loyalty of their father to the Ottoman Sultan. The journey to the Ottoman Empire was long and arduous, filled with uncertainty and fear. A common practice in those times, but one that would leave an indelible mark on the young prince. The years spent in captivity were harsh and unforgiving, a stark contrast to the life of privilege he had known. The Ottoman court was a place of both refinement and brutality, where power was the ultimate currency. Vlad's time in Ottoman captivity was a harsh education. He was exposed to the complexities of Ottoman politics and the ruthless efficiency of their military. The conditions were often brutal, with little regard for the well-being of the hostages. This period of his life was a crucible, forging his character and hardening his resolve. He learned the art of war and diplomacy, witnessing firsthand the Ottomans' brutal efficiency. The young prince observed the disciplined ranks of Ottoman soldiers, their strategies and tactics, and the intricate dance of diplomacy that kept the empire in power. These lessons were not lost on him. They would become the foundation of his own strategies in the years to come. This experience would shape his worldview and fuel his burning desire to free Wallachia from foreign influence. The years of captivity instilled in Vlad a deep-seated hatred for his captors and a fierce determination to reclaim his homeland. He began to plot and plan, envisioning a future where Wallachia would stand strong and independent, free from the yoke of foreign domination. This vision would drive him throughout his life, influencing every decision he made and every battle he fought. In 1448, Vlad's father and older brother were brutally murdered by rival factions, leaving a power vacuum in Wallachia. The political landscape was thrown into chaos, with various factions vying for control. The death of his family members was not just a personal tragedy for Vlad, but also a significant turning point in the history of Wallachia. The once stable region was now a battleground for power, with no clear leader to guide it. The Ottomans, seeing an opportunity, placed young Vlad on the throne, hoping to control him like a puppet. They believed that by installing a young and inexperienced ruler, they could easily manipulate Wallachia to serve their interests. The Ottomans had long sought to expand their influence in the region, and this seemed like the perfect chance. However, they were unaware of the fire that burned within Vlad, a fire that would soon turn their plans to ashes. However, they had underestimated his ambition. Vlad, though young, was a shrewd strategist. He spent countless hours studying military tactics and political maneuvers, preparing himself for the challenges ahead. His mind was a fortress of cunning and intelligence, and he was determined to reclaim his family's honor and restore order to Wallachia. Vlad's youth was not a weakness, but a strength, as it allowed him to think outside the conventional norms of leadership. He quickly consolidated power, ruthlessly eliminating his opponents. Vlad knew that to secure his position, he had to act decisively and without mercy. He launched a series of political purges, targeting those who had betrayed his family and those who posed a threat to his rule. His actions were swift and brutal, sending a clear message to anyone who dared to oppose him. The bloodshed was a necessary evil in his quest to bring stability to a fractured land. His methods were brutal, often employing impalement, a gruesome practice that would become synonymous with his name. Impalement was not just a method of execution, but a psychological weapon designed to instill fear and obedience. The sight of impaled bodies served as a grim reminder of the consequences of defiance. Vlad's reputation as a ruthless leader spread far and wide, earning him the moniker Vlad the Impaler. His cruelty was both a tool of governance and a means of securing his legacy. Despite his methods, Vlad's reign brought a period of stability and order to Wallachia. The once chaotic region began to flourish under his rule. Trade routes were secured, and the economy started to recover. The people, though living under a reign of terror, found a semblance of peace and stability. Vlad's iron-fisted approach ensured that laws were followed and justice was served, albeit in a harsh manner. The stability he brought was undeniable, even if it came at a great cost. He reformed the justice system, cracked down on corruption, and strengthened the army. Vlad understood that a strong and disciplined military was essential for maintaining his power and protecting Wallachia from external threats. He introduced rigorous training programs and restructured the army to make it more efficient and effective. His reforms extended to the judicial system, where he implemented strict laws to curb corruption and ensure fairness. These changes, though harsh, laid the foundation for a more stable and prosperous Wallachia. He even challenged the power of the boyars, the wealthy landowners who had long held sway over Wallachian politics. The boyars had been a significant force in Wallachia, often acting as kingmakers and wielding immense influence. Vlad sought to break their power and reduce their control over the region. He implemented policies that redistributed land and wealth, weakening the boyars' grip on Wallachian society. This move was met with resistance, but Vlad's determination and ruthlessness ensured that he emerged victorious. His reign marked a new era in Wallachian history, one defined by his unyielding will and relentless pursuit of power. Vlad's brutality wasn't reserved for his enemies alone. His reign was marked by a relentless and unforgiving approach to governance. He was known to be a ruthless ruler, even towards his own people. His subjects lived in constant fear, knowing that any misstep could lead to severe consequences. Those who disobeyed his laws or challenged his authority were met with swift and terrible punishment. Vlad's justice was harsh and often public, serving as a grim reminder to others. Impalement, his preferred method of execution, was a spectacle of horror. This gruesome practice involved driving a sharpened stake through the victim's body, often starting from the rectum and emerging from the mouth or chest. Victims were impaled on sharpened stakes, left to die a slow and agonizing death. The process could take hours or even days, with the victim's suffering serving as a macabre warning to others. While these acts cemented his reputation as a bloodthirsty tyrant, they also served a strategic purpose. Vlad's use of terror was not just for personal satisfaction. It was a calculated move to maintain control. Vlad understood the power of fear. He knew that by instilling terror in the hearts of his people and enemies alike, he could prevent uprisings and maintain order. His brutality was a calculated tactic to instill order and deter rebellion in a land rife with instability. The region was plagued by constant threats from both internal and external forces, and Vlad's iron-fisted rule was his way of ensuring survival. It was a message, written in blood, that challenged anyone who dared to oppose him. His reign, though marked by terror, was also a period of relative stability in a tumultuous era. Vlad the Impaler's legacy is a complex one, blending horror with a ruthless form of order. Vlad's relationship with the Ottoman Empire was complex and fraught with tension. While he had spent his youth as their hostage, he grew to resent their influence over his homeland. In 1462, he openly defied the Ottoman Sultan, refusing to pay the customary tribute and launching a series of daring raids against Ottoman territories. Vlad's rebellion infuriated the Sultan, Mehmed II, who led a massive army to crush the Wallachian prince. What followed was a brutal guerrilla war, with Vlad employing scorched earth tactics and psychological warfare to weaken the Ottoman forces. Despite his victories against the Ottomans, Vlad found himself caught in a dangerous game of power. The Hungarians, once his allies, turned against him, fearing his growing strength. Betrayed by his former supporters, Vlad was forced to flee Wallachia, leaving his throne to his Ottoman-backed rival. Vlad spent the next 12 years as a prisoner of the Hungarian king, accused of treason and conspiracy. His imprisonment was a stark contrast to his former life as a powerful prince. Yet, even in captivity, Vlad's spirit remained unbroken. He continued to plot his return to power, determined to reclaim his rightful place as the ruler of Wallachia. In 1476, after years of imprisonment, Vlad was finally released by the Hungarians. He regained the Wallachian throne, but his reign was short-lived. In December of that same year, he was killed in battle against the Ottomans. The exact circumstances of his death remain a mystery to this day. Some accounts claim he was betrayed by his own men, while others suggest he fell in a fierce last stand against overwhelming Ottoman forces. His body, according to legend, was buried in Snagov Monastery, near Bucharest. However, when his tomb was opened in the 20th century, it was found empty, adding another layer of enigma to the tale of Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler's life was a tapestry of brutality, political intrigue, and unwavering determination. He was a complex and contradictory figure, a ruthless tyrant who fought fiercely for the independence of his homeland. His methods, though undeniably cruel, were a product of his time, an era marked by constant warfare and political instability. Centuries after his death, Vlad the Impaler continues to fascinate and horrify in equal measure. His story serves as a reminder of the dark side of human nature, but also of the enduring power of resistance against tyranny. Vlad the Impaler's legend has transcended the boundaries of history, captivating the imaginations of writers, artists, and filmmakers for centuries. His image as a bloodthirsty tyrant has been immortalized in countless books, films, and even video games. Bram Stoker's iconic novel, Dracula, though a work of fiction, drew inspiration from Vlad's historical persona, further cementing his image as a creature of darkness in the public consciousness. While Vlad the Impaler's reputation as a ruthless ruler is well documented, it's important to approach his story with a critical eye. Over the centuries, fact and fiction have become intertwined, making it difficult to discern the historical Vlad from the monster of legend. Many of the most gruesome tales attributed to him, while adding to his legend, lack credible historical evidence. It's crucial to remember that history is often written by the victors, and Vlad's enemies had every reason to exaggerate his cruelty. Vlad the Impaler remains an enigmatic figure, a ruler who defied easy categorization. He was a product of his time, a brutal age where violence was the language of power. While his methods were undeniably cruel, he was also a skilled strategist, a cunning diplomat, and a fierce defender of his homeland. His story serves as a reminder that history is rarely black and white. It is a tapestry woven with shades of gray, where even the most notorious figures possess hidden depths and complexities. Vlad the Impaler, the man behind the legend, continues to challenge our perceptions and force us to confront the darker aspects of human nature. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history on History Uncovered. We're passionate about bringing you the stories and events that have shaped our world, and we're thrilled you're along for the ride. If you enjoyed this episode and want to explore more historical tales, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating content that dives deep into the past. We'd also love to hear your thoughts and suggestions, so feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next adventure through history.